All right, what's going on, people? Your boy Retro Rambo back here to talk about Ryse, Son of Rome, and let's get right into it. Rambo, Ryse, Son of Rome. What did you think about it?
Ryse, Son of Rome. Yeah, it was a pretty good game. You know, your typical hack and slash game. If you're into the Roman mythology, it has a lot of that. I know I'm into it, even though it has nothing to do with black people. It had it had a lot of ups and downs to it. As far as like the graphics and the gameplay, they had, you know, that for me those are pluses, but for a lot of people, those are like downs. So, what?
But right, let's start with that. I mean, the first thing you do when you pop the game in, the first thing you'll notice is that the graphics are extremely amazing, and to be an Xbox exclusive, the next gen, that's a plus point because when you have a new IP such as Ryse, Son of Rome. It one needs to be physically appealing, and two, the gameplay needs to be on point. And that's kind of leads me into my next point, is that before this game came out, Rambo, you know, I said this has the makings to be a hack and slash type game. And as you're playing through the story mode, you know better than me, it's very repetitive.
It is very repetitive, from the enemies to how you kill the enemies, to what you use to kill the enemies. So throughout the entire story, you're going to be using your gladius and your shield. If you don't know what gladius means, it's a sword. Your sword and your shield. You're going to see the same type of enemies throughout the entire game, and they aren't very diverse. You have your minions, your moderately advanced enemies, and you have your bosses. You're going to see those in repetition. And pretty much as far as how you go about killing them, it's all pretty much the same. Slice, slice, execute.
Right,
Slice, execute.
And they're all barbarians. There's no
they're all barbarians.
There's no mixture, except like you said, there's some who are takes a little bit more time to defeat, and you have some of the ones that are easy to defeat. The problem with the gameplay is that you have, if it's going to be a hack and slash type of game, there needs to be various combos that you can do with the hack and slash. And I can only encounter maybe three combos at the most. Different variety of combos you can use, because pretty much all you're using is X and Y. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So the main buttons that you're going to be using are pretty much going to be X and Y. X for your light attack, Y for your shield bash, and you'll occasionally use B for when you you reach a heavy enemy and you have to dodge. You can deflect with A, but your main two buttons are going to be X and Y. They didn't go too much into the combos. They pretty much let the cinematic handle the combo. So you pretty much go in slow-mo. Your character, the enemy will glow whatever button you have to push, and the combo will go from there.
Yeah, and that's another thing that's repetitive, is they didn't even utilize all the buttons. Like, it's pretty much X and Y. As far as like the part he was talking about with the glowing lights, is only using X and Y for the different execution combos. And but I want you to go into the whole when you talk about the combos, you got the focus, the health. Explain what all of those are for.
So you have like 4 special categories. When you go into the gladiator mode, you'll see that you have 4 special abilities. You have the god Jupiter, who pretty much gives you more focus. Well, you get these powers pretty much by executing people. So Jupiter gives you focus, Mars gives you damage bonus, which really doesn't last that long, about 2 or 3 seconds at most. Apollo gives you a health bonus. That's like cheating, but it's still fun. And Diana pretty much gives you an experience bonus. So if you're trying to level up fast, you might want to play with her.
Well, yeah, let's backtrack, because I think you're more so referring to in the gladiator mode. Let's stick with the story mode here.
No, it's in the story mode. It's in the story mode.
Well, I'm
you
just
can
saying,
switch it.
those categories that you're mentioning, what's his name? Marius has the ability to use all of those.
He has the ability to do all of them.
So XP, health, focus, and
right. So on your directional pad, you'll be able to cycle through them depending on like when you want to use it or when it's necessary. So if you're low on health, you can push up, and the enemy you execute, you'll get a health bonus, or vice versa for each one of the special abilities. So you can use them in the story mode. You definitely can.
Right, and let's actually backtrack just a little bit, because I know we got into the mechanics and all that, but actually let's talk about the storyline itself. And pretty much, it's the Roman gladiator Marius, who he saw his family died first. Well, to be more specific, his mother and his sister died, and then later on down the line, his father died. And pretty much by the hands of the barbarian. And pretty much he's fighting for rebellion against that whole scene that happened with the killing of his family.
Right. So, CryEngine, they pretty much like follow Roman history like to the T. If you've ever seen the movie Gladiator with what's his name, Russell Crowe, it's very similar to that. Whereas though, you know, the war general loses his wife, mother, father, whoever it may be, to conspiracy with the emperor, and they go in rebellion, and they end up, you know, rebelling and killing the emperor. So it's pretty set in stone, and that type of story has been used many and time over. So when you play through it, you'll notice that. Right,
and that's what I noticed as well. Is like it's not a new storyline. Like we've seen it before. They do a good job of the cinematics are actually pretty good. I think, like I said, the graphics are pretty good. I think if it wasn't so cut and dry and repetitive, I think it would have a little bit more value to it. I think the fact that it's also a short game, a game that can be beat less than what 8 hours. I mean, you've beaten it.
I would say 6.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're trying to collect all the scrolls and stuff,
right?
Which I'm not even sure what they're for.
I have no idea.
You know, another thing I'm confused about is the upgrades within your character. You know, you build up XP to get all these upgrades, but I was kind of confused exactly what the upgrades actually do.
Now, do you mean, are we talking about multiplayer or just strictly campaign?
We're talking about the story mode, like skill upgrades.
Yeah, so I looked into it, and the more you actually upgrade your character, when you position Marius in specific positions, like if you're in the puddle, or if you're over like a flaming pit of fire, or if you're just standing to the left of the enemy, he'll do specific executions that vary to where he's positioned. So the upgrades matter to a certain extent.
Okay, and talk about the ending and not try to spoil it too much, but I know you had something to talk about the ending.
The ending pissed me off. You can't do that for an exclusive. I'm not going to tell you what they did because I don't want to spoil it, but when you see what happens, just know that should never ever happen into an exclusive. That is taboo. That is blasphemy. What they did. They get a huge fuck you for that. Because it ruined everything. The game was okay up until then. Then they just shit on me in the end. So it's like, wow, I can't believe they did that.
Based on the fact that it's exclusive, and with that ending, do you think there will be a Ryse 2?
No.
Okay, so that pretty much, you can kind of read between the lines with that, how the ending went down. Now, granted, I haven't finished it myself, but you can kind of read between the lines on that one. Before we wrap it up, we want to talk about Gladiator mode real quick, and what's your impressions about it?
Gladiator mode had a lot of potential. If they weren't going to focus on the story mode as much as they didn't, they should have put more variety into Gladiator mode. You only had 4 gods to choose from. The gods I mentioned earlier: Jupiter, Mars, Apollo, and Diana. They could have expanded that more and given you more variety. They could have given you more power as far as the customization of a gladiator. You can only change the armor and the sword and shield, but you can't change the sword and the shield. You always use the sword and the shield. Like, I wanted my gladiator to be black, but he couldn't be black. He was a diaper wearing dude, so there's nothing I could do about that.
Now, in terms of the campaign and the story mode, the campaign and gladiator mode, I had more fun playing the gladiator mode simply for the fact there's different environments, different levels, and I learned that the more you rank your character up, the more upgrades you can actually put on. That seems to be more beneficial in the gladiator mode than the upgrades that are in the single player.
Right.
At least I seen it made more of a difference in the gladiator mode.
Right.
When the first time I played it with Rambo, I was like, I'm actually having fun with this gladiator mode. Now, don't get me wrong, it can be somewhat repetitive, but if you think about what the game is as a whole, you know.
Right. If you think about that, then they hit the mark, because that's pretty much what went down in those Roman times. But this is a game, and we want to do more than just use the sword and the shield and cut and slash. I want to shoot you with a flaming arrow or stab you with a, I don't know, poisonous spear. I don't know. I want to impale your ass. I don't want to just keep slicing you.
Exactly, and I feel like between the story and the Gladiator mode, I think the Gladiator mode has more potential to be better if they were to extend upon it more so than the story mode. I think the story mode was kind of repetitive and dry, and
it was just lackluster. It was just lackluster.
The sum of it is pretty much lackluster, and the Gladiator mode definitely has a lot of potential, and I'm looking forward if they extend it to see what they're going to do with it.
Yeah.
Now go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, they don't really have to do much to improve it. Just add more variety and go more in depth with what you and your co-op player have to do. They could even put a versus mode on there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, now to wrap this up, to wrap this quick review up, would you recommend this game to a person who doesn't have an Xbox One yet and does not have Ryse yet? Would this be a game that you recommend?
I would recommend they GameFly it.
Okay, so not a buy.
Right, not a buy.
Okay. Replay value. Does it have replay value, yes or no?
It has replay value up to a certain extent. Overall, no, because it's so repetitive, so quick. And unless you're really into that Roman mythology, you're not going to play it.
Right. Is it a must-buy? I know you kind of answered that already.
No, it's not a must-buy. You can save your $60.
Is it even worth? Is it worth $50?
No.
40?
No.
Okay, that kind of sums it up right there. Now, here's the big thing. Rating this game 1 through a 10, what would you give it?
I would give it a 6. It has potential, but I would give it a 6.
Interesting, because I would give it a 6 too, simply for the fact that I feel like the gameplay and the story it's not completely finished.
Right. It's not total shit. They can fix it. It's not total shit.
Yeah, it's
they
not
definitely
like
can fix it.
It's flat out garbage. Like the graphics will wow you, but after you get over the graphics, it's like this is it. This is all you have to offer.
Yeah. Just little things they got to fix. Just little things.
Yeah,
and
but
it's beautiful.
It's something that can be overcame. So 6 for now, with the potential to be an 8.5 if they polish up everything else.
Right.
So yeah. But yeah, so that's the review for Ryse in a Rome. Looking forward for them to make a Ryse 2, possibly. And hopefully they improve on a lot of the things that made Ryse in a Rome fail as a new gen exclusive for the Xbox One. The boy Retro Rambo, we're out. Peace. Remember guys, to like my Facebook page, The Retro Recap. As you can see here, the link will be in the description. I already have over 100 likes on this page, and pretty much what this page will do for you guys is give you all the updates, but when I'm going to upload a new video, some questionnaires, and also giveaways. So in order to keep up with everything that's going on this channel, make sure you subscribe to my channel and like the Retro Recap Facebook page. Once again, thanks guys.